Bianca Oblivion is what you see here, is me. I have been a DJ for a very long time, and I am also a producer, and I have been born and raised in Los Angeles. I mean, I grew up in a very music-loving household, so I just remember, as a little kid, not any specific memory, but just hearing my parents play music all the time. Records, tapes. I came up when MTV was, first starting, and I would just watch music videos all the time. And I bought my first, I remember I told my parents to buy the Technotronic Pump Up the Jam song when I was little. So they bought me the little Kasingle, and I would play that all the time. So the electronic scene in LA, I think, thriving right now. We've got a lot of different parties that are happening that are very multicultural, people coming in and kind of representing their, their culture, their music, and bringing in all kinds of different influences from all over the world. And, a lot of them are my friends, and they're throwing all kinds of amazing events. And then there's also a thriving underground scene, which is, what I'm a part of, and my crew Warp Mode. We throw a lot of underground events at warehouses, and I think that scene in LA right now is really strong, and there's a lot of really forward-thinking DJs and producers that are a part of it, and people from all over the world are coming to LA to experience these events, and I think it's a really special time. I think that, as I said, through these parties and these networks, these global networks, I think we're pulling from sounds from, every continent at this point. I think the pandemic really opened up a lot of people's worlds. And I think they were able to see DJs they never would have seen before place, streams. And I think that, those sounds from other cultures are now fusing with different, places from, in every city, every country. And I think these influences are so far reaching that we don't even really know. There's this new generation that is coming up in music, and, producers and DJs that are pulling from everywhere. You see that, even in TikTok. You see these dance crazes coming around from, people in South Africa, people in Brazil, and it's really incredible to see that music thriving and, being incorporated into pop culture. Rihanna doing a Baile Funk track on, of a remix of her Rude Boy song. I know that producer, I literally saw his Instagram just shoot up the minute that came on. And so it was an incredible thing, because these are people that I have, been supporting and playing on my sets, on my radio shows. And I think that this global influence is kind of, for me, is what is leading electronic music. A little bit of just getting into the headspace of what the party is about, and incorporating new songs that I've been curious to hear out, and playing some of my own tracks that I haven't, that I need to test out live, some friends' tracks, and honestly a little bit of chaos. Sometimes I'm just feverishly trying to get into, my record box and just put together a bunch of stuff. It really depends on how much time I have. Sometimes I'm doing crazy traveling and getting stuff prepared, but it's just a different process every time. Sometimes I'm really I have a long time, and I can methodically put together some playlists and make it all kind of cohesive, and then other times it's pull a little bit of this, pull a little of that. I think most of the time I pull it off. So I'm just being honest, we don't always get to plan things the way we envision it, and I think there's a lot of fun that happens when there's a lot of spontaneity in the set. I think really I just feed off the vibes of the crowd. That's a very hard question. I think a lot of my time DJing and the sets have been all so incredible and special in different ways. It's kind of hard to gauge which ones have really impacted my long-term career and goals. But I think I would say that being able to tour abroad in general has been a really special thing, especially since it got taken away during COVID. Being able after COVID to go to different countries and play the music that I love and see how people respond in different ways in different languages and different regions is really incredible. And I really look forward to continuing that and to go to new places. So I kind of partially answered this question, but the DIY underground scene in LA to me is what's driving the culture here. People may not go to all these parties and they may not know about it, but the music that is coming out of these events trickles down into the rest of the music scene. Even if you see EDC right now, the lineup is very much trying to tap into that sound in a way that they've never done before. Like this has never happened before in this iteration of EDC in Vegas, kind of the big room type stuff. And I think that says a lot about what's already happening here in the underground and what people have been pushing here forever. But specifically during this time, the music that myself and my friends are pushing and promoting is making a big impact locally and globally. But I think the challenges that we face are, finances. Like, it's really expensive to throw a warehouse party, and it's a risk. It's always a risk you take. Renting a whole space, renting a sound system, getting talent. Like, you're investing a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy to basically create an entire club out of nothing. And it's very rewarding though, because you get to experience, you get to have these experiences that you wouldn't ever be able to have in a club setting. And you get to go late night, and it's just like a whole vibe that people can really enjoy. But again, legality, always an issue. You don't know, you have to keep it, kind of hush hush, and you just want to make sure that everyone's safe. And there's always a lot of hard work that goes into these things, but it's definitely worth it. And I think that even if we're really not making money / losing money, I think the people who are involved in the scene are not really worried about that. I think it's for the love of it. I think that social change, social justice is something that is what I live in my daily life, and what I know a lot of my other friends do. And I don't necessarily think that it's something that always translates on the dance floor. A lot of us are there to kind of release and just have fun. So I think that when people try to have a megaphone and be like, this is, we're here, we're being equality for all, DJs from all over, they try to have this facade of being politically correct and being oh, we're gonna book all women on this lineup, and it's it's a bit contrived in a lot of ways. I think I see, at least in line of bigger electronic events. But I think really for us, it's just representation. It's booking artists from all backgrounds, all genders, all orientations, anything. But it's for us, it's not about focusing on that. It's we're just booking amazing DJs and and pushing incredible producers, and we're doing the work of researching and finding people from all over the world. And just by that, just doing that, you're gonna find people of different backgrounds. If you're not finding people that are not fitting, that are if you're just finding white dudes, sorry, you're not doing the work, because there's literally millions of other musicians and DJs and producers and whoever out there that are doing incredible things. So for us, I think, yes, we are representing who we are. I'm speaking about the people I know in the LA scene, that are women, LGBTQ+, people of color. That's who we are, and that's our community, and that's who we like to support. And so I think that just by, again, simply existing in this space, I think it's a political act. I just like to kind of surprise people and just kind of continuously evolve my sets and the way that I DJ. And so a set that you've seen from me, a year ago is not going to be the same set that you see from me this weekend. And it changes by party. So I think that I'm constantly changing, evolving, maybe, going back to old stuff I would play, just finding stuff that hasn't been released yet, just making these connections. And again, being able to travel and make connections with producers and DJs from all over the world. I'm constantly trying to push fresh new sounds, kind of this global vibe. That's kind of what I'm particularly versed in, is just really pulling together very seemingly disparate sounds and cultures and just kind of putting them together in a new way that I think people are get excited about. I also love to dance around in my sets and just kind of go wild. And so I think that I just bring a lot of energy. There's a lot of different ways right now that I'm constantly getting inundated with music. So I mean, honestly, like people posting music in their Instagram stories, and putting their new music like posting about their new songs. I listen to other mixes and radio shows to get tracks. People send me a ton of music. I get a lot of promo mailers of different songs. I'm friends with a lot of producers who are also sending me tracks. And if anyone's watching this, I'm sorry if I've lost your link in a DM. Email is a lot easier, but no, I mean it's really anywhere. Like I could Shazam a track out somewhere, you know, at a club or even like I don't know, a bookstore, you know, wherever. Like it's like on the street. I've gone around, you know, I was walking around London once and I was there was a candy store and I went in to Shazam a track. Like it's literally everywhere. Like the music is constant. I'm constantly aware of like songs and music that are catch my attention. So it's a constant hunt. It's just a hunt, like always. I'm always hunting for new songs. Even Spotify algorithms are right now in my favor. You know, they're feeding me songs that I like that I don't know. So that's really.
No, that was great.